Hello everyone, welcome to Shambles United. So we haven't been live since quite some time, and it was a huge break in between. I'm your not so regular host, Shorts or Satamitra, and with me is the podcast regular Kevin, as well as my friend Manu, who has joined the pod, I think once. And today we are going to discuss a lot of things about what has been transitioning at United and what has been transpiring there and how we still remain in shambles. All right, so let me begin with throw the dice onto the floor. Kevin, it's been like Ole going out was seen as something which was quite predictable. Carrick did an amazing job at being an interim, but what have been your thoughts with Mr. Professor coming into the picture and us trying to replicate the 4-2-2 formula and how the Gegen tracing has been going on?
So let's start with Ralf. So he was appointed as interim and it's been 6 or 7 games, all competitions. And he stuck mainly with the 4-2-2 formation, which has had its critics. And there has been a system change from Ole's reign. Particularly, even given chances to different personnel like Telles, Dalot, even Ilanga, who played the last game. But do I think there has been a major change from Ole's reign and our Manchester United back, and is the philosophy which Manchester United should play with is back? Not really, I think so. It will take a lot of time for the players to adapt, and some players, as there have been media speculations, have not been happy about his training methods, his personnel which he has brought in, and there have been a few senior players who are a bit reluctant and hesitant to think, who agree with his tactics. Particularly in these 7 games, what I think, David De Gea, for obvious reasons, has been the best player. Scott McTominay, even Bruno stepping up. But our problems still remain the same. Defensively, we are a bit unstable. As always, we could see in the Aston Villa game, going 2-0 up and just that lead disappearing within minutes. So, and one thing I can point out, what I need to point out is Ralph has had a good run of fixtures to start with, but the team hasn't been impressive so far, and I fear the worst for Ralph. And let's see. Hopefully, the team there are some new personnel coming through the transfer window, and I'm not that optimistic about him yet.
Right. Okay, Kevin. So I I think you've covered a lot of concerning points that we have going into the next round of fixtures for United. So late at recently we played out that 2-2 draw. Even in FA Cup when we eked out that 1-0 win over Aston Villa, it didn't seem that convincing per se. Manu, throwing getting you on board over here, like what have been your thoughts? Like what has been our major point of concern or ailment that you have figured out? Like I understand that Kevin mentioned that there has been a lot of speculation and a lot of rifts in between the team as well. And there has been media speculation that there is a rift in like Ronaldo and Maguire can't see eye to eye, and that there was this Ronaldo interview as well where he was mentioning that younger players are not ready to accept criticism a lot. So, what do you think? What is actually going on, like with new personnel coming in and Ralph being the professor he is? What are your thoughts?
So off-field, United has a team which is supposed to have a lot of issues. You have experienced players, you have newbies, you have academy graduates. So it's basically like a mixed bag of players with a lot of egos. So off-field, like you just mentioned, Ronaldo saying all those comments about young players, him and Maguire not seeing eye to eye. That's something which you expect out of Ronaldo. He's a player who is there just to win. That's his main motto. So he's obviously going to have issues. On field, apart from all these issues, on field, it seems like most of the players are not able to get a grasp on where and how they're supposed to play. There were a lot of images that were captured regarding the whole midfield dilemma. It's even though you talk about a 4-2-2-2 formation, it's kind of felt like a 5-5 formation. There were 5 players on one side, 5 on another side, and the whole midfield was empty. So right now, the players out there, except for some of them, the others have no idea what to do. That's what it feels like. You try to get a lead, you can't maintain the lead. You suddenly just disappear, you just break down all of a sudden. Defensive woes have been there since Oli. Ralf has somewhat improved. It actually felt that way. Even the Villa match, for 60 odd minutes, it felt like United's defensive, even though they weren't that great, they were still trying to catch up. But then, snap of a finger, that's gone. I mean, the midfield, defensive woes are not just enough right now. You also have midfield woes and even the attacking players, a lot of issues there. So right now, there's a lot of work for Ralf to do, or anyone who comes next. There's a lot of work for them to do. And as Kevin mentioned, I'm not optimistic about the guy yet, because that's not what you see in the results. Even Ralf and the players don't actually. You see a difference of opinion there too. How they communicate, how they talk to the media. So
Right.
sort of wait and watch.
So as we know, Ralf is the interim manager. He'll be going into a consultancy role and helping out the director of football, basically in the kind of capacity that he can, and has been able to replicate the same, like we are putting onus on him to replicate the same model where what he did at Red Bull, maybe at a better scale and with better resources. So now, coming to the point, like what do you think we should be looking forward to in building up United's chances in securing that top four finish, moving on ahead in the Champions League? What should be our priority and what can be done to rectify a lot of things from our end? Kevin, you're open.
I recently read about a stat like after Ed Woodward was in charge of Manchester United, we were only able to sell less than 5 players for more than £10 million. So that seems to be a big problem at United. We have a lot of deadwood on our hands. And as we saw from yesterday's press conference, the drama which had happened regarding Anthony Martial, Ralph saying he doesn't want to play in the squad, then Martial posting an Insta story that he would never do such things. So our first priority, in my opinion, should be to get rid of a few players such as Martial, Lingard, and even Nemanja Matic, so that we can get some we can utilize those funds and groom the new players. Hopefully, we get at least one midfielder in this transfer window, so Ralph can be better at his philosophy. Going forward, I think now it is high time that we start focusing and getting those points on board, because teams like Arsenal, Tottenham, and West Ham, they are all doing really well, and Arsenal have points on board. So getting top four will not be easy at all. And if we are not able to achieve the top four position, then the managers which have been potentially linked, like Ten Hag or Poch, it will be really difficult to get them on board. So Ralph needs to sort the team out, and the priority should be to get top four. The FA Cup and the Champions League is just a bonus at the end of the day for us.
Okay. Uh, a few of the optimistics or the disillusioned people will also say, looking at Champions League and winning it will be actually one of the best opportunities for United to make a stay in the competition for next year. But being realistic, yes, whatever you've mentioned, Kevin, it's absolutely right. We do require a lot of deadwood to be shifted out, but there are a lot of deadwood that people are not willing to buy because the exorbitant salaries and wages that they are prescribed at this point in time. But Manu, what do you think? What should be the main agenda going forward, as well as what kind of transfers are we looking at?
So personally, I feel that in the next 15 days, nothing's going to happen. United is not going to sell any of the Deadwood players. Lingard, even Van de Beek's. I mean, the whole world celebrating Van de Beek having 50 appearances for United, even though he joined like more than a year back. That itself indicates that United has a lot of players who just are just bench warmers with no other job. So personally, I feel that even though okay, all those players that we have on the bench, those are probably like midfield and attacking players. We have very few good players on the bench who are there for defense. Bring in a good defensive midfielder to support that whole 4-2-2-2 formation or whatever formation you're going ahead with, because a McFred formation is going to help you in attacking, in pressing, but not for defense. So bring in someone like that, and it's high time that Ralf and the team both work together to make sure that the team understands the philosophy of how to press. If that's what you're going to do, then you should be doing that. It just doesn't seem like the players are intent on pressing the entire time. Sometimes they just sit back, sometimes they just lose possession and they just run around here and there. That needs to be changed. That itself will give some hope that, okay, we can. I mean, to be honest, the moment Ralph came in, we've had a bit more clean sheets and some optimism in terms of defense compared to what we had with Oli. And Dehe has been an absolute beast out there in the goalpost. So just support him, bring in a good defensive midfielder who can help out the defense out there, because Varane, for all the glory he came in, he hasn't been able to get that spark at United yet. Maguire, we all know how he is. Lindelof, Bay, can't rely on them at the entire time. So you need players to support the back four, or basically the center backs that you can't get rid of.
Right. Okay. So looking like majority looking forward, it's not a very positive uh, outlook that we have for United at this point. I mean, it's a very worrying atmosphere for the fans itself, because there are a lot of things which are there in ifs and buts, and we aren't sure about a lot of things as well. Concerning the players, how they will be fitting into the system going forward, what kind of outgoings will be there, and what kind of I don't expect any incomings at this point in time, because there are no strong links per se. But okay, so even though if there are certain incomings, who would be on the top of your priority list, or like any player that you're looking forward to seeing don the Reds of United, Kevin?
Personally, I would rather have a DM rather than any other player we sign first. So maybe a Neves or a Bissouma, but they're far from happening. And as Manu said, we would hardly have any interest in the Premier League window, transfer window in the upcoming 15 days. So long term, if we are able to get Champions League, if we are able to get Ten Hag, then we should go for Erling Haaland. Like, it's a no-brainer. We will have definitely competition from the likes of Real Madrid, Manchester City, and other teams. So, and even if we are able to, if Ralph chooses Pochettino, and so maybe we can go for Harry Kane. So the Kane and Pochettino reunion can happen. And I'd like to address the Paul Pogba situation also. Like, he's not been playing. I don't remember the last game he played for United. He's been out for some time. There are rumors about him leaving or something. So maybe if we are able to sell him and save on his wages, then we can also go for a good defender, maybe Declan Rice or some DM, sorry, Declan Rice or something. So yeah, the transfer window currently looks a bit unhappy for the Manchester United fans, but there is hope, always hope in the summer.
Right. Manu, what is your opinion on this?
Well, a DM would, as I mentioned, a DM is a high priority. Now, Declan Rice, I mean, uh, he has been a good player for West Ham. He has supported the attack and the defense at the same time. So he's a perfect holding midfielder for if you're able to get him at United, he's perfect. But the kind of rate or the price tag that he is coming with, for that, United needs to get rid of a lot of players. Else, I mean, we can afford him, but it's just going to be like another set of bench warmers. We just bring in a whole bunch of them. So, I mean, any any good defensive midfielder like Declan Rice, who's out there, who's ready to even think of a United transfer, whom we can get a hold of, I think I'm just happy with that. I right now, based on the situation that we're currently in, I don't think there's any point of naming names like I want this guy, that guy, Bissouma, but just get anyone who's able to support the defense. I mean, that's the state of mind that I'm currently at.
Okay. Zakaria has been linked, not so heavily, but do you think he might be a good fit at United?
Um, Honestly, the way that we have been playing so far, it completely depends on who the next person is coming in. Zakaria right now, he's either going to be a revelation or he's just going to be someone who doesn't know his place. Depending on who's coming up next, Ten Hag or Poch or someone else, it depends on their philosophy if Zakaria is going to be a good fit for United or not. And that same thing goes for other players right now. So, I mean, depending on the way we are playing right now, the way the formation sets up, the way the players are playing out there, can't really say who's a good fit or who's not.
Okay. So, Kevin, in the last match, we had played a 4-2-3-1 formation. We were, playing a lot better than what we were playing, say, against Aston Villa, the same opposition at Old Trafford during the FA Cup. Although we were a lot more solid, we did have a clean sheet as well. But do you think, playing Van de Beek a little bit more, or the say maybe no utilizing Sancho maybe a little bit more in a free role, would that be a better option in the 4-2-3-1 against the oppositions who are lined up to who are lined up to whom we have lined up for to face in the future, like Atletico in UCL, then we have Arsenal, I suppose, again, and the Manchester Derby is also coming in. So there are a lot of big matches to come. So do you think the 4-2-3-1 formation with a few changes in say folks at the club itself would actually benefit us?
Definitely the personnel, like we were missing Ronaldo, and I wouldn't say we missed Rashford because he's not been at his best and he's been struggling with form. And even he's accepted that he needs to work on his fitness. And Ralph said he had some fitness issues, so he was left out of the squad. Uh, See, we have a lot of tough upcoming matches. Atletico, as you mentioned, Arsenal, Manchester City, even Spurs, I guess, are upcoming. So I think Ralph needs to. I think there are too many changes happening every game. Like there are key players and key personnel being changed, being rotated, and of course it is due to injuries or due to something. But we need to have a stable midfield. I think Ralph likes to play McTominay and Fred together, and if I think we should all just agree, accept the fact that McTominay and Fred will play behind in front of the back four. Considering ahead, I think Sancho, Greenwood, Bruno, I think they should all have their own specific positions. As you had mentioned, Shorts, that the pressing was all over the place in the Aston Villa game, the Premier League game. Like there were many instances where we could see Fred, who was the most advanced player and was pressing against the defense. So, and I think even Cavani hasn't performed to his. He hasn't been scoring the goals. Ronaldo has been catering that department, and Ilanga was given a chance. He performed well. So against the big teams, Ralph needs to sort out his team positions and make sure that these personnel know their defined roles, or else it could be a very devastating losses and it would be very difficult to watch these games.
Right. So not a very keen picture right now at United. All right. So folks, it's kind of a make or break part of the season. Um, Kevin has mentioned that we should definitely focus on getting the fourth position. So I'll just throw in the question. Say, what are your expectations, or what are the prediction per se, about where United will be finishing at the end of the season, looking at whatever has transpired and what is to come ahead of us. Kevin?
Personally, I think the Champions League, I think we can edge out Atletico Madrid, but after that it'll be really difficult. FA Cup, I we don't really. If we get easy draws, we can go ahead. But Premier League, I personally believe it will be really difficult to get top four. I think Spurs or Arsenal will finish in the fifth position, fourth or fifth position, and we will end up sixth. So yeah, that's my prediction, and I'd like to ask you guys after answering this question: do we still have a title race, or it's just heading to the blue side of Manchester?
It's heading to City. There's no way that they're bottling this lead.
There's no way they can bottle this league. The way that they have been playing so far, every match seems to be one-sided. Even the matches that are not, they just try to make it one-sided. So I don't think no, like Liverpool, Chelsea, I don't think they can ever catch up to City right now.
Yeah,
Like
12 wins in a row, and they have some easy opponents coming up. So
Yeah, and
definitely.
Liverpool is without their star players, and
correct.
they're way too dependent on Mane and Salah. So no, nothing there. Chelsea, a lot of attacking goals with the whole Lukaku situation. Again, a lot of situations
Chelsea's
like
Chelsea's
turmoil out there.
inconsistent.
Yeah,
So
exactly. A lot of
Chelsea,
turmoil in Chelsea.
Spurs can be about Chelsea if they win all their matches in hand. So that is a good
but they're Spurs.
spot.
Kevin, come
Yeah,
on.
true.
They're
So,
Spurs.
Manu,
But
you didn't answer the question of what are your expectations. So just getting back to that.
oh, United. I mean,
Yes.
Yep.
if you're getting a top 10, seventh or eighth position, I'll be happy about it. I really can't expect
Correct.
anything
Seventh
more
or
than that.
eighth, though.
I'd rather
Yeah,
we finish eighth and not go to the Conference League or even the
yeah, yeah,
Europa League.
yeah. I mean, that's just an invitation for Ronaldo to just get out. Go to
True.
the
Correct. I
Conference
agree.
Plus,
League is probably the last thing he's going to do.
as Kevin had mentioned, it throws in the spanner about who's going to be our next manager, because Ralf is interim. So
Yeah,
there are a lot of ifs and buts going in.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
very
So
bleak
if
pictures being painted here. Right, Kevin, you were
correct.
saying something.
In my opinion, if Ralph isn't be able to get Champions League and he finishes say eighth or seventh, then even the 2 year role which he has been given, even that comes into questioning, and uh, that even he might end up getting sacked or fired by the club. So it really isn't good looking for Ralph right now, and he needs to address the issues at the earliest.
Right. With that direct proclamation, Manu, any parting words?
I literally hope that, I mean, I've already reached the stage of depression a couple of weeks back. I've transcended the situation. I just want to see some sort of a win scenario at some point of time where we're not drawing, we're into losing a lead suddenly. I just want the players to buck up. Frankly, I just want that to happen. There's a lot of internal debates happening, a lot of media issues happening, the players saying something, the coach saying something else, talking between themselves, a lot of captaincy issues. Just buck up. I mean, first of all, you've reached at a situation where anyone who's supporting United, they're just sad to say it out loud. So start playing the way that you want to play. As Kevin mentioned, the 4-2-3-1 formation is the best formation, that as the formation they're comfortable in. Just go out with that. Make some personal changes. Like try to go with okay. And another thing, it's high time you start scoring from a set piece. That stat of taking 100 corners and scoring 0 out of them, it's sad.
Yeah,
It's way too sad.
it seems as if the last corner we scored from was in 1999 in the UEFA Champions League final against Bayern Munich.
So,
But
I don't
so
remember
this
scoring
time,
from a corner.
yeah, did we sign a set piece coach or something? I don't know what's up
it's
with that. And
he has the Arsenal DNA. We can't do anything.
I think we
There was a
have.
red flag when he was from Arsenal. We should have looked at that, but no.
Yeah.
yeah, there are bigger problems than the set pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So with all of those, like a lot of ifs and buts around United, a lot of pressing questions, pun intended, to be answered by Ralf as well as all of the folks at United. As Manu mentioned, it's not been a very good look for a United fan. It's becoming more and more depressing. But after all, we play at the theatre of dreams. We are the Red Devils. We do make comebacks. So let's hope that Ralph and his Devils can turn this around and we can again go back to singing Glory, Glory, Man United.